there, yarn lovers, it's Gary and I'm coming to you from my happy place, the Yarn Corner here on the west coast of Canada. So welcome, welcome, welcome on this sunset eve of Wednesday, September the 18th, 2024. How you all doing? I hope you're well and staying safe. If you're happening across this channel for the very first time, I want to welcome you. I've set this channel up to talk about all of my yarning adventures. That's in knitting and crocheting. And I talk about my acquisitions, where I purchase my tools of my craft from, or my yarn. So if that's of interest, please stick around. And for those who are returning, I want to say welcome back. It's always good to read your comments that you leave me. I get to learn a little bit more about who you are as a crafter, what challenges you face. We sometimes share the same kind of bits and pieces with where we're at in our journey. And I still feel like I'm an infant in many of the tasks and skills and techniques that I'm learning, and you're always there to help me. So I want to say a heartfelt thank you to all the commenters who have maybe shared a little bit of their knowledge with me over the course of my journey, especially recently. And yeah, so what have I got to share with you in today's video is some acquisitions. Most of these are patterns, and I am going to be talking about what I do when I'm looking at pairing a yarn up from my collection that I have. And generally that's what I do, is like I find a pattern that suits some of the yarn that I have in mind in my stash or my collection that I really want to start working with. So you'll see a bit of the thought process behind it with yarn and with the yarn and patterns that I'm going to be sharing today. But before I get going on that, I do want to talk about what Hank, my man form here, is wearing and what I'm wearing. So these are both crocheted items. Hank is wearing a crocheted piece that I completed about 5 months ago. And it's to a crochet shawl called the Novella Volume 1, and it's by Yaga Yaga. I absolutely love this Polish designer, is amazing. Heavily charted, but I have a certain series of this in the collection that I bought in a bundle. So I am yet to do some more of the patterns from the Novella and from the Axe in the Novella series as well. And what I'm wearing here is a crochet shawl pattern that was from a tutorial I followed over at Bag O' Day. Now that's Crystal. I'll link all the patterns, tutorials that I mentioned down below in the description box. And this one is called I Want It All. And it uses a beautiful gifted yarn that Crystal had sent me from Yarn Art Snob. And that is Keith. And I believe he's situated in Florida, and the colorway is called Witch's Shoes. Now it was from a Powerball, and I used half of the Powerball and I've yet to use the other half. I'm thinking of using it for knitting. So yeah, I really like this one. It's so squishy. It's, I believe, a DK weight yarn. It's sort of a little thinner, maybe it's a sport weight. And because this is a video that talks about purchasing and shopping, I do want to point out that down below in the description box, there are some affiliate links if you're interested in supporting the channel and you're wanting to do some shopping. If you click on those links at no extra cost to you, I do get a commission after you have done shopping from those links, and the funds come back to me and I pump it back into the channel. So I want to thank people who have done that in the past because it's really helped me reach out further to those remote places to buy yarn and maybe some tools of my crafts as well. I've got one yarn coming, an order from Latvia. It was an influential video that I watched of another YouTuber that encouraged me to try this store out. So when that arrives, I'm very, very excited to show you the yarn that I got. Let's kick on with talking about patterns. Now, I was super excited to find this just by coincidence, I guess. So I went on to Stephen and Penelope's website. That's Stephen West, and it's situated over in Amsterdam. And I was looking at some of their books that they had. I really wanted to get some of Stephen West's books, but I wanted to purchase the hard copy because I'd been buying patterns on Ravelry one at a time kind of thing, and I've been missing out on getting the full extent of like techniques that have been written up in his books. And also I like the fact that I have a physical tangible thing to touch and feel. I'm not sure whether you're the same way as well. Do you prefer to buy online digital patterns that are electronic, or do you prefer having something in hand and physical? So in this particular instance, I wanted to buy a few of his books, and I chanced on the site and they were having a sale. I've looked on the site as of today, it being September 18th, 2024, and the sale is still on, but the price has changed slightly from when I first purchased. Now, I got this back in September 5th of 2024, and I'll give you the price breakdown and the savings that I made with some of the nuances in shipping that came later. So it'll be a whole kind of journey of these books coming to me, and I'll try and be as precise with the with Euro currency because it is in Amsterdam, which is the Netherlands. So the first one that I have here is this lovely, beautiful book here called Painting Shawls, and it's has 13 knitted patterns inside. I absolutely love this book. I've been oohing and ahhing on what pattern to start first, but in the book, I think I've chosen one which stands out as my first one that I'm going to embark on, but there are several others that I want to do as well. I don't know whether this is part of the print or whether it was signed and autographed by Stephen West himself. You know, so I'm not sure whether this is part of the print process or whether he actually took a marker to paper and wrote that down himself before it was sent to me. But I kind of like gushed a little bit when I saw that. Okay, so as I mentioned, there are techniques and tips, beautiful photographs. The first one that I'm going to try is, I'll just show you quickly a photo of it, is this one here. It's called Painted Columns. So that's going to be my first tackle on this amazing collection of patterns. So yeah, let me tell you about the discount that I received and the discount as of today on the the film that I just saw on the 18th of September. So on the 5th of September, I purchased this for €8.26. Okay, on the site, it's declaring that it sells for regularly €44 for the hardback. Or if you go on Ravelry, they say the ebook is €36, and then you get it instantly, I guess, once you purchase it as an ebook. So I thought that was a great savings. The second one that I got from the visit when I was shopping is this one here. It's called Hibernating. It's only a small formatted book, and it's called number 3. I believe I counted 8. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 patterns in this book, and the one that I am picking first, because not all of these ones are ones that I would like to do, but this one here is the one that I'm looking at. It's called the Aurora Shawl, I believe. That one there. Beautiful photos. I just love the movement and the energy of all the colors and shapes. So I purchased this one on the 5th of September for €6.20, and regularly it's claiming to have sold for, like on Stephen and Penelope's site, for 22 for the paper euro. And on Ravelry, strangely enough, this as an ebook, it's featured as €24. So you're paying a bit more for the electronic version. So yeah, I absolutely love them. And so those two together were shipped to me, and the shipping fee of it was €21. And wherever you are in your home country, you'll have to convert that into your currency to find out if that's a good value. So in total, the cost that I have here is 35 euros and 84 cents. So if I did not encounter any of these on discount, I would have had to pay 87 euros for this, including the shipping. So that's a hefty savings. I've worked out the savings to be 52 euros approximately. And I thought that was a great steal. So I thought, yes, I'm going to go ahead and do it. When I've checked today on Stephen and Penelope's site, there's still a discount, but it's not as good as the discount that I had on September 5th. And I'm seeing here that this book here is selling for 10 euros. And this book here today, when I checked online, it's selling for €7.20. So what I decided to do was to show you the make that I was going to be doing for the first make from the painted shawls. And this is the painted column, the one that I showed you. Can I show you another picture maybe? There it is there. I'm doing that shawl. I'm going to show you the yarn that I picked. Now it's fingering weight yarn, and I might be choosing a few more colors or using the same color multiple times throughout that painted shawl. But these are the ones that I have pulled from my collection. So we'll start with my, what was I thinking for the first one? Okay, this one will appear a number of times. It's one of my own hand-dyed yarns, which uses greens and fluorescent green and speckles of blue, like a denim-y blue, but ever so lightly. I'm going to be using that as probably A and D, and this one will be my B, so they alternate, and that's a tawny kind of color. Then my next color will be this one here, which is Twill from Knit Picks, and that's a fingering weight yarn as well. It's very, very soft. So that's like a, what colorway is that called? It's called Voyage Heather. It's like a deep teal. So that will be my, probably my C. Then I'll go back to using, I got another hank of it, this color here, which is the one that I hand dyed myself. And then at the end, I'm going to be doing yellow and this color here, if I can get it out of the bag, it's kind of sticking, and that color here, which is called Abyss. So those are all the colors that I'll be putting into the painted columns. A little backstory on the colors here is this Expression Fiber Arts Abyss colorway was a gift from Crystal over Bag a Day. I absolutely love it. It's got that sheen to it. It's going to be a beautiful end to the painted columns with the yellow. I think it's going to be a dramatic end. Absolutely. So those are the colorways that I've chosen for that yarn. For that pattern. And the next one that I've got, let's do a bit of crochet, shall we? Now these are, I've got to pull it up on my screen. Excuse me. Here we go. So I'm looking at my Ravelry account, and all of these crochet patterns that I purchased were from the same store, and they are all in euros as well. This is from a designer called Beba Blanket. Beba Blanket Modern Crochet Designs. And I pulled this one out to work on once I finish my Nature's Walk. So I'm going to be doing another mosaic. Well, the Nature's Walk isn't a mosaic, but it is a modular kind of blanket that you put pieces together. This one is mosaic and it goes in circular formation. So you work around the center and around, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And so I purchased this one for the price of €7.90, sorry, €7.90. And this came as a digital file to my Ravelry account. So beautiful, beautiful pattern. I also went a little nuts and bought a different design from the same shop or the same designer. And this one is called Sea Glass Mosaic. And this one's called Cozy Mosaic Cuddles. Cozy Mosaic Cuddles, Sea Glass Mosaic. They're both throws. And the Sea Glass Mosaic was €4.90. I thought that was a great deal. This one here is the next one that I purchased from the same design group, and it's called Summer Mosaic Jewels for July, August and September. So very similar modularly designed shapes and motifs for larger projects that you could put together and make certain things like blankets if you want, or you could use them for you can make a cardigan out of them if you wanted to, but I really liked them. So they do have other seasons as well, but I thought I'd start off with just the summer pack and see how well I can read the pattern. It looks to be charted, as well as, let me just give you a quick synopsis. It looks like it's charted and there's some written instructions as well, which is great. So normally when I'm doing my first attempt at a designer's style of writing, I do like to have the written as well as the chart, so that I'm understanding what it is that each of the instructions are, until I get a gist of how it is that they've formulated their instructions, and then I feel at ease and confident just to use the chart. So yeah, the first one that I'm going to attempt out of these is, oh, did I give you I didn't give you the price of this one, sorry. So the Summer Mosaic Jewels was €5.90. And there's quite a number of pages in there. I'm going to say each of these is over 15 pages each. So quite a number of work is involved to provide all the instructions. I believe this one has some tutorial help on getting started, and that will be my first go-to to read the pattern as well as watch that first tutorial on starting this. The yarn that they have used in this one has been a mandala, and I thought similarly that I would use my mandalas, and that's from Lion Brand, and I will add something new to the style by pairing it with the Premier, is it the gradient cake? This one here, Premier Everyday Gradient. So I'm going to have a bit of sheen. It'll hold up better as well if it's being like heavily used. So we've got the anti-peeling effect, and I've got two of these in the black version. I think the colorway is called gray black, maybe black tones. So I've got two of those, and I think what I might do is in the beginning I'll start with the dark, let it go to the light, and then when I finish this cake I'll start with the light and then bring the edging of the blanket black back to black. So, and I've got my mandala here. So I've got a few of them. These ones I just grabbed at because they were the nice bright ones. Yeah. So this will be my framing and color work, and these two are just will be the colors that run through. And I did a little bit of a test to see how they would compare thickness wise, and I think they kind of match up. Not a bad difference. And because I'm intertwining I'm believing every row will be interchanging with one for the other, that it's not going to be a huge change. It'll be the same texture and the same kind of repeat of the transition throughout the blanket. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to using those. Have you done mosaic blanket from Bebe Blanket? If you have, let me know if you have any tips or helpful tutorials. I did find the one that will help me start with it, with this blanket here, the Cozy Mosaic Cuddles. So I'm eager to get started after I finish my nature's walk. Okay, more patterns. Let's do more patterns. This one here, as I was telling you before, I was looking at Stephen West patterns but buying them separately, and this Botanical Shawl is one of his that is in a book. I haven't found the hardcover book for this one yet, but I know that you can get the ebook on Ravelry, and it's, I think, 40 euros, and it has a series of patterns that use the faded technique. It's called faded shawls. So I just pulled this one aside and thought, well, I'll wait to see if I can find the book somewhere. And for now, I'll just buy a few of the ones that I really like from that publication. So the Botanic Shawl is one that I've picked. Now, I can see here how much I paid for it. Where did I get this? On Ravelry? Or did I buy it separately? Oh, okay. Right. So this one here I purchased in a bundle, and it was for 12 euros, and I got the Botanical, I got the Parallel Lab. It's a play on words because it looks like a parallelogram, but Parallelogram, and the other one was the Scrappy Happy Triangle. So this one here, so altogether 17 euros for the 3 patterns, oh sorry, 12 euros for the 3 patterns, was quite a good deal, I thought. And the yarn that I picked for this one is this microfiber yarn. Oh, it's got some fluff on it. From, I believe I purchased this from Valrita, and it's called Ali's Diva. It's I'm going to say that's fingering weight, and it's really heavily packed. So again, I'm going with a gray gradient into white. I thought that would be a nice kind of play for the main color that goes throughout the pattern. And I've chosen a sock yarn base that transitions between all these purples into orange and gold. I think this is kind of like a Halloween pack. I think that will work really well with the gray. And it's from Estelle, and it's called Sock Twins Crazy Balls. So there's the label there. And I'm getting 400 meters in these 100-gram balls. This is sock weight, fingering weight. So I think that these will go nicely together, so that again it will be like a blending. I believe in this pattern it's like doing a few rows and alternating between the colors, and I'll be doing some knits and pearls and getting a bit of texture in the piece. And again, it'll be playing on that shiny with the more woolly, and I like the contrast that these two will give each other. So yeah, just a different way of like playing with the fabric, so that you can get some different light effects, the way the light kind of bounces off things. And my last one that I have here is also a knitted pattern, and this one I had to print large, so it's a pattern that I believe is a PDF that is meant to be laid out over a 2-page spread, because when I printed it off on regular US letter paper, it was so tiny I couldn't even read it. So a little bit of a kind of drawback there on the pattern itself, because I needed to do it on tabloid paper. Now, I don't believe this is showing me any information on the first one apart from what you need for your materials. So this is okay. It's called the Pomon Pullover. It's a design that is by the classic series Blue Sky Fibers, designed by Bobby Infeld. Just down there, I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'll link it down below in the description box. So this is the pattern where I'm challenging myself to do some math and swatching, because it does ask for a certain weight of yarn, and I believe it's more of a light worsted. And what yarn I'm thinking of doing, and I don't know whether you can see that, it's like the pullover has like a gangsy style kind of texturing with knits and pearls. And there's a whole tradition on gangsy from the British, like UK, as well as up the passage between Holland and Belgium. The gangsies were knitted stories on family heritage. So if back in the day, in I guess the turn of the century, were 1800s to the 1900s, a lot of the shipping people, like the fishermen, would have their own specialized gangsy where they chose motifs that talked about their family heritage. And unfortunately, when bodies were washed up, if there was an accident or there's been a horrible storm and lives were lost, they would find the fishermen washing up, or the ship people, and they would identify where to send them off to because of their gangsies. I know it's quite morbid, but it's almost like a bit of a blueprint identifying, identity card that they had back in the day. So I'm going to do this because I love the texture, I love the story behind it, and these shapes I'm really loving too, like diamonds. I'm getting a bit of like arrowheads. There's some waffle. I just think it's a great pattern. So, did I tell you how much I paid for that? I don't think I did. Did I get it on Ravelry? Yes, I did. So it was $9 for the pattern on Ravelry, and it came electronically. And there was that one problem with the writing being way too small, and you have to print it off quite big. And this is the yarn that I'm using for it. Yes, it's another Yarn Snob yarn, and this was the gift that Crystal sent me. I absolutely love it. It's 100% cashmere, and it's so soft. Yep. This one rates, in my book, perfect score. It's really soft, and it has that nice wash smell that Crystal always talks about as being very unique to Keith. And Keith is the dyer of Yarn Snob. So it's called Halo, and I got 12 55 gram hanks, and I have enough. But this is the challenge. I think this might be a slightly lighter weight. This is considered a DK weight yarn, and I have a feeling I'm going to have to go up a couple of sizes, so that down sizes in needles to get the nice density of the fabric needed to do the gangsy, and then I need to go up a couple of sizes to take into account for the shrinkage of the yarn and the smaller needles to make the tighter fabric. But it does give me 5 sizes to choose from in the Pomon Pullover. So if I'm generally a large, like a 44-inch chest, Then I'm seeing here how many sizes I'm getting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sizes in this. I probably will go up 2 sizes, but I'll do my swatch and do the calculations. So I'll do a 2XL, and hopefully that will give me a large. Yeah. So yeah, it's got charts in there. It's also written in written form. So I'm really, really super impressed with the patterns that I've received, not received, but purchased, the discounts that I made along the way, as well as pairing my yarn from my collection that I have and not needing to buy anything for the patterns that I've just shown. There's one small tip that I want to also share. Now this is not a complaint or anything like that, but it is something to consider. When I purchased from Stephen and Penelope, it came to me, I did pay the shipping of that many euros, I can't remember, 21 euros something, and it came to me via third party, so it did come FedEx. Now FedEx, I can't figure out what it is that FedEx decides to bill or charge, but in this instance, 3 days after it arrived, I did get a UPS letter in the mail on some fees that I needed to pay back to FedEx. Now, I guess it was triggered because there was customs GST that I needed to pay. So FedEx, as the carrier, would then go and maybe pay the GST and then need the monies reimbursed. So my GST was $1.08 Canadian. So in effect, it kicked in all these other fees because they had to process that charge and they were now looking for reimbursement. So the brokerage fee was 58 cents. And then the total government charges was $1.66. So I think that's probably the GST and the brokerage GST. And then the bond fee was $11.65. And it all comes out in the end as $13.31 to pay UPS. So I'll have to go online and pay for that charge. But all in all, the 52 euros that I saved with the 2 books that I mentioned and went through all of those costs and how they discounted it online when I went shopping, it covers that $13, and I still have the savings left over of, I'm not sure how much that is. It's probably around, say, 40 euros that I saved in the end, considering the charge that UPS sent me. So I'm kind of happy. I still got my hardcover and my paperback cover. So I did do I did make some savings, and I did get that physical element in the end. Let me know if you do the same thing with your patterns when you purchase them, whether you prefer your physical or whether you prefer just digital. And even when you get the digital, do you look on to your monitor that you use, maybe a tablet or your phone, to work your pattern through, or do you go off and print it out on your home printer? Or let me get into your working process and share that with me down below. I'd love to hear that. Yeah, with that, I'll catch you up in the next video, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.